Hey, Jason here. Welcome to your lesson on setting up the drums. In this lesson, I'll show you how to set up your drums step by step so you can have a good understanding of how a drum kit is put together. We'll start with a blank slate, as you can see, and build the kit piece by piece, making minor adjustments as we go along until everything is just right for our playing style and comfort. You can see I have all of my drum components neatly organized with my stands on the right, my cymbals against the back wall, and my drums and bass pedal on the left. You'll also notice that I have a rug placed on the ground. The rug is going to be the foundation for my drums, and it's an important part of the process. You want to make sure you have a rug or carpet to place your drums on so that your drums don't slide away from you when you're playing, or so you don't damage your floors. Now that we have our space organized and we're ready to go, the first thing we want to do is place our bass drum in the general position on the rug where you would like it to be. After your bass drum is in the general position, be sure to open the legs and extend them enough that the front bass drum hoop is off the ground about an inch. Next up, you'll want to grab your bass drum pedal. You'll notice on your pedal there's a clamp that can be tightened with a wing bolt. This clamp is called your hoop clamp, and you'll want to lift your bass drum slightly off the ground and make sure that you slide the hoop into the clamp and tighten the clamp on the hoop using the wing bolt. Now that we have our foundation set with our bass drum and bass drum pedal in position, we can grab our drum throne and position it so that our right leg is comfortable to reach the bass drum pedal and our left leg is in a comfortable position. This will give us a general idea of where we can position our hi-hat stand. With our throne in position, we can grab our hi-hat stand. You'll want to open the legs of the stand with the wing bolt and place the stand where you're comfortable. Make sure your legs aren't stretching to reach either pedal or cramped. Aim to have your legs sit as naturally and comfortably as possible. Now is also a good time to adjust your seat height down if you're reaching for your pedals, or up if your legs are cramped. Next up, we'll grab our snare drum stand. You'll want to open the legs of the stand enough to support the weight of your snare drum so it doesn't topple over, and you'll want to open a snare basket wide enough to cradle your snare drum. Now, we'll grab our tom mounts and slide them into place on our bass drum. These mounts will support your small and medium toms. After you slide them into place, tighten the wing bolt on the bass drum hardware to secure them in place. Most hardware will have memory locks on them, so after you fine-tune your adjustments, you can easily replicate your settings if you need to tear down and set up your drums again. With your tom arms in place, you can now mount your small and medium toms by sliding them into place. After sliding them in place, tighten the wing bolt to secure them. We'll want our drums to descend from high to low, so you'll want to mount your small tom on the left of your playing view and your medium tom on the right of that. With the toms in place, you can now grab your snare drum and place it in the basket of your snare stand. Underneath the basket, there will be an adjustment you can use to tighten the basket to firmly support your snare drum. You'll also be able to adjust the snare height and tilt on the stand. With these components in place, it's a good time to sit in your throne and make some minor adjustments so everything is coming together comfortably for you. It's time to set up our last tom, the floor tom. To do this, we'll need to insert the tom legs into their mounting hardware on the drum. Each of the tom legs will have grooves on them to mark their heights and Like many of the other drum hardware, they may have memory locks as well, so you can easily get your drums back to your liking if you need to take them apart and set them up again. After I insert all 3 of the tom legs, I start to position it where I would like it to be. I like to aim to have my floor tom about the same height as my snare drum, so if I'm moving across the snare drum and floor tom, it's an even transition. Take notice to the above view of my drums. They're all close together with no large gaps to play over and equal heights. This is one of the keys to comfort behind the kit. Now that all of our drums are in place, we can start to set up our cymbals. We'll start with the hi-hat since the stand is already in position. To set up your hi-hats, you'll want to remove the hi-hat clutch from the stand. This is the piece of hardware that holds your top hi-hat, which is the one that moves up and down. To set up your hi-hats, you'll place your bottom hi-hat cymbal on the stand by sliding it down a rod and resting it on the cymbal felt or rubber. On your hi-hat clutch, you'll notice there's a nut on the bottom, 2 pieces of felt or 2 pieces of rubber, and a couple lock nuts on the top. To set up your top hi-hat cymbal, you'll undo the nut on the bottom of the clutch and remove one of the felts or pieces of rubber and insert your hi-hat cymbal into the clutch. Place the cymbal felt you took off back on the clutch and tighten the lock nut back up. Now you can slide your top hi-hat cymbal down the rod. Apply a slight amount of pressure with your left foot on the pedal and tighten the wing nut of the clutch. If the gap is really wide, try again putting less pressure on the pedal before tightening the wing nut. Time to set up the last few pieces of the kit. I'll grab a cymbal stand for my crash cymbal and place it between the hi-hats and small tom, and I'll place the stand for my ride cymbal on the opposite side of the kit. To set up your cymbal stands, you'll need to open the legs enough to support the weight of your cymbals. It's a good idea to distribute the weight over a leg so your stand doesn't fall over. With our stand set up, we can now place our cymbals onto them. I'll start with the ride cymbal. First, I'll remove the quick release on top of the stand and one of the cymbal felts. I'll grab the ride cymbal and place it onto the stand, securing it with the quick release. Next, I'll repeat this process with my crash cymbal. Now that the drums are all set up, the last thing to do is sit on our throne, make some minor adjustments so that we're comfortable, maybe move a cymbal here, move it there, grab some sticks, and take the drums for a test drive. I hope you found this lesson helpful and that it helped you get your kit nice and comfortable so that you can progress through the courses and start your drumming journey. I look forward to being your teacher, and I'll see you in the next lesson.